First up on our review cycle this week, we have Dispatch, everybody. You're probably asking the question like Austin just did before we hit record, what is Dispatch? Well, if you haven't heard of Dispatch, Dispatch is a game that was announced at probably the Game Awards or Summer Games Fest. I can't remember where, a while back. Game Awards. And it is from former Telltale devs, several Telltale devs. And it just came out October 22nd, 2025. Currently, they're doing an episodic structure. So 4 episodes as of this recording are out now. I've played all 4 of them. I think there will be 8 or 10, 8 to 10, somewhere around there. They're releasing through the end of November to release all these videos and stuff like that.
How long is each episode?
45 minutes, roughly. 45 minutes to an hour, give or take. Yeah, it's basically like watching an episode of a show.
Oh, okay.
It's available on PC and PlayStation 5. The synopsis of this game is you play as a former superhero, morale broken by a busted suit, now working a dispatch center for superheroes and ex-villains. So in this, it's developed by Ad Hoc Studios. So this is a studio that was formed by several ex-developers of Telltale Games. So these people worked on The Walking Dead, The Wolf Among Us, and several games that I absolutely adored and loved. But as we all know, like Telltale over time kind of lost its luster and like as far as like gameplay mechanics, and like it wasn't quite full in on like it's like wanted to be a TV show, but it was also interactive, but like it was kind of stilted and stuff like that. This game has done such a good job at capturing like this is literally a TV show that you're playing and you get to do stuff, but it's like it's so fully animated, like it's as high quality as like any of the major TV shows that are available online. You're basically, or not online, on Netflix and streaming and stuff like that.
You're not?
What?
You're not online? How do you stream it?
Huh? Wait, what?
How do you stream on Netflix if you're not online?
Oh, yeah, you're online. Okay, yes.
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, you're online.
All right, yes, go ahead.
So one of the reviewers that I read on Steam said that this is basically like if Arcane and Invincible had a baby, and I think that's probably a good analogy. I haven't seen either of those, but like
Arcane's really good.
Yeah, this has the storytelling, writing. This is some of the best writing I've seen in a game in a long time. It's really, really good. It's very grounded of a story. Because it's basically like it's kind of like if you took superheroes and put them in the office setting, and that's kind of like the mentality that you're getting. You're kind of grounding them very much in a you're kind of humbling them a little bit, and like you're working with these super villains. You're playing a character named Robert Robertson, voiced by Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
Yep.
So it's got a very good, strong cast right off the bat, and it's got an interesting mix of cast members. It has both big names like Aaron Paul. It also has Jeffrey Wright, if you remember him from Westworld.
Yep. And
some other stuff. He plays one of the characters. So that's like kind of like top level like Hollywood actors. But then Laura Bailey plays the voice. Obviously, she's in here. This game is in collaboration with Critical Role. So Matt Mercer has a voice in here. There is, and then there's even streamers like Jacksepticeye has a character, and he's actually appropriate as like his voice is appropriate for like what he's playing. He plays a bat character who's really funny. He's like a tech bro who's also a bat, kind of hilarious. And so there's a whole like really good set of cast here. Moist Critical is also in here, and then a lot of different stuff. But basically, you're Robert Robertson. You're a character named Mecha Man. So you're basically kind of like Iron Man, but you're not smart. You're just kind of like an average Joe guy. Your dad was really smart, and he was the original Mecha Man.
So you took up the mantle.
You took up the mantle, yeah. And then stuff happens. You can't be Mecha Man anymore. So then it's like you need a job. So SDN, which is a superhero dispatch network, comes and grabs you and is like, hey, you can still do good. Come help us manage this ragtag team of supervillains, aka a Suicide Squad, if you will.
Supervillains, not superheroes?
Supervillains that are trying to be reformed.
Oh.
So it's very much a Suicide Squad kind of idea.
Oh, I thought they were superheroes.
Nope.
They are now.
They're a bunch of dicks, and they are very selfish and self-centered, and they
Is this like knock
hate
off
him.
like time off of their like sentence or something? Is this why they're doing it? Or
So they're if they had agreed, no, they don't have any of that. Like if they basically agreed to join the SDN, they're basically like, if they don't do this, then they're basically gonna go like to jail or whatever. Yeah. but they don't have like bombs or anything that's like controlling them. SDN can watch their every move. You can just turn on a camera and you can like know where they are and what they're doing, so you can always follow them and track them and stuff like that. So you're the dispatcher. So you're like the 911 dispatcher basically for these supervillains that are trying to be reformed into superheroes. So people call in and be like, "Hey, my cat's stuck in a tree," or we need to protect this high value target person who's like may get assassinated. So one of the ways that this game kind of brings in gameplay, because a lot of this is like you're literally watching a interactive TV show, and then there's certain points where dialogue options pop up like you're used to seeing with a timer, that you have to pick the dialogue that will impact the story. So there's very distinct differences. I don't know how many endings there are yet because the game's not finished, but there is definitely noticeable changes with like, if you do this thing, the characters will react to you this way. If you do this, they'll react that way. So there's a lot of that. And I've seen some examples of like, if I did this option versus this option, like I'm legit missing like whole scenes of animation by picking this option versus this option, which I think is really cool. And it like, because these are so bite-sized, and that's kind of one of the big things I want to kind of drill home, is that this is such a casual gamer friendly game. Yeah. Because you can play an episode in 45 minutes to an hour. And there's also a lot of this is a graphic adult game. There are
nudity.
There is nudity, both male and female nudity.
Penis.
Yeah, you get it all. So it's and there's a lot of swearing in this game. There's even a part in it where I'm pretty sure they're making a joke where there's a character that comes in a bar and continuously calls Aaron Paul a bitch. I was like, I know that they were probably making a joke about that, but it's really funny. But beyond the dialogue choices and like the little quick time events and stuff like that, there are two main kind of gameplay mechanics that kind of level this up from what a Telltale game would be. And one of those is like kind of a management sim kind of aspect, where you as a dispatcher are sitting in front of your computer, and during your day job, you are dispatching your super villains to go fight crimes. And you have your list of villains across the bottom. And then on the top, you have your, let me see if I can find a part so you guys have a visual to go with here. Here we go. So you have your super villains across the bottom, and then you have a map of like the area, the sector that you're relegated to. And a little icon will pop up that says a little bit about what's happening in that area, like go save the cat out of a tree. And then it'll tell you the requirements on the side, but it won't tell you what those requirements are tied to skills wise. But it'll say, like, in this case, strike the devil's fortified base of operations and defend yourself against the armed foes. So you have to determine, based off of those keywords, what types of traits are best motivated for that. So it could be intellect, charisma, vigor, combat, mobility. I think that's all the traits. And you have to, each character has different pros and cons that allow them to be best for this. So you pick the one you think will be best fit for that job. You send them on that job and they go do that job. And if they succeed, there's like a graph that shows you like, here's the graph of what you should have sent of like all the different things. And then your graph of what you did send overlays on it. Yeah. And there's this little like dot that bounces around that will land and has a percentage chance of landing in the overlapping area. And that will determine if you succeeded or failed.
Is there a potential for a villain to die in battle? Like, can you lose these villains, or is it just like, oh, they just failed the mission, or like?
I think
there is. What happens with that?
I think there is a lock to that. Like, I haven't tried to fail, you know, but I know there are people like if you miss assign a person, then they will get injured, and then their stats get reduced. And so they have to then take a couple of turns to rest before you can send them out and have full abilities again.
I see that now. Yeah. Okay. Next question is like, with the villains that you have and they accomplish mission, do they get perks or upgrades or anything to their stats as well? Okay.
Yeah. So there's a whole upgrade system.
I don't know if I like, but go ahead.
And this is the part that's probably not for everybody, but it's simple enough to where this adds that layer of progression and kind of like, hey, you're pushing towards something that's really nice. But every time you send a villain into a battle and they do something and they succeed, they gain experience points. So there's a little like star icon next to their name usually that will like level up, and that'll indicate when you're about to like level that character up. And then once they level up, they get a skill point, and you can put one skill point into any of the 5 or 6 skill categories. So
of that individual villain.
Yeah.
Shit.
So you put the point into that, and that'll raise up their bar towards mobility or vigor or whatever one step further, with a max of like 8, I think. If you send both villains, they both get experience points, because you can also send multiple villains to different things. So some of them will require like 1 villain to be there. Some will require 2. Some can take 4, and you decide how many to send, because when you're sending them to these things, they're busy. So if another thing pops up, you have to kind of micromanage like
Your time.
how many you send, because if you have everybody sent at the exact same time and another event pops up, well, shit, you don't have anybody to send. So that means you lose that one that was there. So you have to kind of decide, okay, who can I send that's going to give me the maximum potential of winning this without sending too many people to where it becomes.
And what happens if you
problem.
lose it?
If you lose it, it's just a negative point. So you level up based off of how many successful missions you sent your team on, and there's like a leveling system for your character that will progress up. So like the first level is like 10 jobs, and once you get 10 jobs, you unlock an ability. So like I unlocked an ability where I can then, one time per mini game, I can take a character immediately off rest. So they just finish a mission, I can take them off rest to put them right back out there again. So you get like your own personal abilities.
Wait, this is a mini game, but you're the dispatcher?
Yes.
So
I mean, it's a game, basically.
This
yeah.
is the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what?
I call it a mini game because this is like 20% of the game, but this is like this is the gamey part of the game.
Yeah.
So then how do you get to the cutscenes and do all this stuff?
That's the full game.
That's the full game. Yeah. So this is all integrated into the story. So like,
right,
you come in the job,
yeah,
you have the cutscenes, you're like in the job, blah blah blah. You see your team, et cetera, and then you go to your computer and you sit down and you enter in the mini game.
So it's like a Telltale game, but
then when do you leave the mini game?
Whenever you finish it.
Finish the stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like a Telltale game, but it has a
mini game,
within it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a mini game because it's supposed to be the game.
Right.
Yeah, it's a key piece of the game for sure. Yeah. So this is all tied to the story stuff too. So like there will be things that happen during the game that you may upset a villain in the world because of things that you said. So therefore they're going to sit out your next dispatch. So now you have one less person who's going to participate because they're pissed at you for XYZ
for your
reason.
decisions that you made in
the
game. Well, the game.
Yeah, exactly. So that has an impact into like this dispatching part of the game.
But in the story, you're making the decisions.
Yes,
but not as a dispatcher, as that character.
Well, you are a dispatcher.
You are the dispatcher.
You are this is your world you're living in, and I'm playing this character.
Yeah.
And part of my character, what I'm playing as, is this is my job, is I do dispatch for the day. So this is what I do.
And then once you're done dispatching, that's when the story bits come along.
Yeah.
Or there might be a story bit in while you're doing dispatch work.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of story bits that come out of the dispatching too, because they're all talking to you as it's going through. So there's a lot of banter back and forth.
Okay.
So it's an area where you get to learn more about all the characters that are under your group. And like this isn't real spoiler or anything like that, but like there's a part where like, I mean, these are ragtag people, and like you're like in the middle of a dispatch and you're like, okay, fuck it. Yo, 20 minutes, conference room, let's go. And then you end the dispatch early and then go to the conference room, and then that's a cutscene where you're like interacting with them and talking and stuff like that. So there's that, like it's very infused into the storyline. Like it's not like you're being detached from this, and you can't go in this willy-nilly. Like it's part of the story when you enter into dispatching. And then there's also a hacking mechanic. That's another game feature in here. That's
all that.
What your character does, where you basically, it's like I was telling Jason earlier, it's kind of like a little Pac-Man thing where you're going around this different like grid deal. And at the beginning, you start off where the hacking is you're just going around the grid. You go to an area to unlock a node, and it's like using stratagems and Helldivers where you're pressing the arrow keys to like unlock the thing. And then eventually there's an antivirus that'll try and come get you when you're trying to hack. So it's a little red like Pac-Man character basically that's coming after you that you then have to hack and get away from the red thing and use like puzzle mechanics and stuff to kind of navigate through the world or the space, which I think is really cool. So
you dispatch through glasses?
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
Well, I mean, this is an example of dispatching with glasses. when you're in the
tutorial
office.
phase.
This is like the very beginning of it, where it's hey, do you want to be a dispatcher? You're down your luck. Let me help you get there. And then when you actually become a dispatcher,
Did something happen to him, or he just?
Yeah, he had to.
It's his live stream.
The suit got destroyed basically.
Okay.
So his suit got destroyed in the
Not
first.
smart enough to build another one.
No, he can't build another one because he needs like a special type of it's like a
Brain
energy crystal thing that powers it.
Okay.
And there was only one, and it got destroyed.
like Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's definitely inspired by Iron Man, but like intentionally like a parody of Iron Man. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've played through all 4 episodes now. It's so fun. I really like it. Like I jumped into it last night. I was going to just play 1 episode, and I was like, I got to see the next part because the storyline part of it is so good. You have a little dog Beef that runs around with you, little pudgy dude.
Thick, dude.
He's so thick, but he's so cute. He's so fun, you know.
You're just feeding them cereal all the time.
I like the animation of this.
Yeah. I saw this pop up on that sale that they're doing right now for Halloween and stuff, and I was like, "What is this? I don't want to play this." But I didn't know it was from Telltale guys.
I'm not a big fan of the Telltale games. It's just I don't know. I played the Batman one. I think that's the only one I played.
I didn't like that.
I enjoyed it for what it was, but I was just kind of like, I kind of want to just, I don't know, watch a movie of this. You know what I mean? But,
yeah, I know. It definitely looks like a good movie.
Yeah.
So there is a component here when you open the game up, you have 2 options. You can do the interactive option, or you can do the cinematic option. If you choose the cinematic option, that cuts out a lot of the
choices.
It cuts out the QuickTime events and stuff. So you're basically just watching the movie, and then you still get to make choices on the dialogue, but it doesn't have you do all the other stuff that you have to like be paying attention to the screen to like move this mouse here, or do this thing here, or whatever. But you still play the game part of it and all that, you know. So, yeah, they have a guy that's basically like your who's the main dude in The Boys? The Homelander. Yeah, they have he's called a Phenomenon. So he's like Phenomenal Man. And they have a girl named this is Waterboy. So Waterboy just like like leaks water all the time, and he's like very just, you know.
So he has a
people make fun of him, and yeah, he can like spray water out of his eyeballs and everything, but he's like always leaking everywhere, all over the place, and it's people just like absolutely hate him. But you know, you as your character gets to, you know, try to be friendly with him and stuff. But the writing's great. I mean, it's such a good. I don't like this isn't something that's like, hey, this is gonna be my game of the year kind of thing, because there's still other aspects to it that like other games obviously do way better. But like, this is such a good story that I don't think anybody should miss out on.
How do you like Aaron Paul as the?
Love him.
Yeah. And
what's funny about it, it's like I don't love Aaron Paul and everything.
Yeah.
Like I saw like he played in BoJack Horseman. I liked his voice in BoJack Horseman. I hated him in Westworld. Did not think he was a good character in Westworld.
He was in Westworld?
Season 3.
Season. I need to watch that one.
Yeah. He was okay in Westworld. Loved him obviously in Breaking Bad. But like he leveled up from me in his performance in this. And it's funny too, because like whenever they asked him to come do this, like he was sold on the script. That's all it was. Like he read the script and he's like, I'm in, let's do it. And that was what locked him into it. And I thought that was really interesting, because I mean I think this is his first video game role, and this is not a big studio, right? And but he read that script and it was like instant, like I'm doing it, you know. And it's really, really good. I really love the script writing, and I want to go back and play it again, because there is a lot of diversity. I just love that they like Telltale felt broken after the first 3 you play, and it just didn't feel right. But everything in this mechanically works so well and is so creatively designed. I bought the deluxe edition, was reading they have like a digital art book where they're kind of like showing early sketches of like, here's how Waterboy changed like 7 times over the course of design, and how much that they changed the design of the dispatch screen, the UI of that. They have like 15 different types of iterations. They're going to have like a 3D map, and they're going to have like a more hyper realistic one, and like all these different things. But they were like, we want to fit like the tone and like the style of what they wanted to go for, with this mid-century modern kind of like, this isn't like a modern day time. It's, I think, set back a couple like 20 years ago or something like that, I think is what it's supposed to be set in. So trying to capture that appropriately was interesting.
It seemed like they put a lot of work and detail in the characters and stuff. I like it.
Just purely watching it, like, I'm entertained. Yeah. I can't even hear dialogue. I can't even hear music. Nothing. I'm just like,
visually,
the way that they animated this, like, it's legit. It's like real animation. I mean,
it is. You know, it's like, and what's interesting about this is so this originally, the backstory of this game was that it was going to be an interactive live action TV show, and they didn't say who it was going to be with, but it was going to be a live action show on TV. Superhero workplace comedy, but then COVID-19 happened, and Hollywood shut down. So then they're like, well, let's just make it a game, and then that's what this is. So it was originally not even going to be. So that's why I think the production value is so high, is that it was starting as a TV show, and then they couldn't do that, so then they pivoted to this.
Hell yeah!
But I mean, it's great. I'm
hearing
so happy with it. Yeah. Definitely for me, I mean, like right now it's like 9.5 out of 10 probably. I mean, like it's, again, not game of the year because it's like there's so many other things that factor into that, but like it's really, really good. And it's, again, a game that if you don't have a lot of time, this is so easy to get into and so bite-sized, and like the characters are great, and just like it's awesome. So good. So yeah. And it's $30, by the way. So $30 for the whole season, and with all the content and stuff, and I think it's super worth it because, again, the replayability is there as well. So yeah, Dispatch, y'all.
Well, now I gotta play it.
Ad Hoc Studios,
they're
doing some magic.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
it's very magical.